Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening to us from. We are Spiritual Vacancy. We are a podcast to help fill your spiritual void. I am Brooke Ann. I'm a psychic medium and a Reiki practitioner, and I am with my lovely co-host today.
Hi, and welcome. This is Kimberly, and I'm a psychic medium also, and a Reiki master teacher. And welcome.
Yes, and we are interviewing Leah today, who is very big in the Myrtle Beach community, but she's also helps women worldwide as well. So we're excited to have you on to kind of hear your story today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat with you both today.
Me too. So Leah, you have a huge Facebook community, but you also do so much with women in the community and help them on their spiritual journey, their spiritual path, go a little deeper. And how did you kind of, get started to like where you are today? Like, how did that start for you?
Yeah, I love that question. Thank you. I like to say that throughout our lives, when we can reflect back, once we kind of find that thing that we love to do and are passionate about, when we start to look back, it's like there were always breadcrumbs kind of leading us towards the thing. And I think in my life, that was certainly the case. I'm an event coordinator by trade. That's what I went to school for. So even in high school and college, I was always really passionate about creating spaces for connection. So throughout my life or the lifetimes within this life, those spaces may have looked like a wedding or a conference center or a music festival, different things like that, even corporate events, but always about can we get people together to feel something, right? And to connect with each other. And so then over time, life led me to the mountains of Virginia. So this beautiful town called Floyd. And Floyd is a place that in the 70s, a lot of like the back to the landers came to this area. There were a lot of intentional communities, a lot of organic farmers, musicians, artists, so a really beautiful space where people were really connected to their authenticity, their passions. And through that, I linked up with an incredible group of women. And my friend Katie Wells with Interweave Conscious Movement was creating women's retreats. And so from a logistical, like event planner perspective, I started working with her. And through that work, sat in my first women's circle. And I think it was back in 2017. And when I sat in that space, as cheesy as it sounds, I feel this in every part of me. It felt so familiar and like I had been doing this for lifetimes, right? So I sat in this space surrounded by women, some that I knew, some that were strangers in that moment. But there was this resonance, this familiarity, this safety, this intimacy that I felt in this non judgmental space, and it forever changed me. I didn't necessarily think I would be doing this work as a facilitator, but I certainly knew that I wanted to shout it from the rooftops or at that point from the mountaintops, right? That I have found something so beautiful that's helping me remember who I am. And then life brought me to the beach, the coastal coast of South Carolina. I'm in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And at that time, there weren't a lot of spaces existing like that here. And I'm a Capricorn. And so I'm one of those like, okay, I'll build it. And I just felt the call to start holding circles on the beach. And I think the first circle, maybe, we had like 10 or 12 women. And then it really, it just started to ripple from there. And so, yeah, I think 5, 6 years now, there's been monthly sister circles here on the beach. And then there's a really thriving community space that kind of happened during the COVID times when we couldn't gather, together in public. We started kind of gathering within that space. And yeah, it's all just kind of exploded from there, but in the most beautiful ways. So yeah, that's a little bit of kind of my story and how the breadcrumbs led me here to be the owner and founder of Her Sacred Circle, where I do this work full time.
That's amazing. It's nice because you're young that you followed that path so young and you trusted it. I think it's amazing that you trusted that and just followed spirit, followed your soul, and this led you to where you are now.
Yes, it's interesting where we sometimes doubt those feelings. I like to invite women to drop into their body and to kind of listen, but your body will relax in spaces that really are meant for you. And most often, and I like to say that circle feels like an exhale. And so I knew it was a space for me. Like when I can kind of be there and just be like, ah, you know, and the shoulders drop and we're like, okay, like this feels like
Yeah.
home. And
Right.
so, yeah, I feel really honored
Mhm.
and blessed to have the privilege to hold these spaces, you know, here with women in the Grand Strand and then, you know, virtually and all of that. It's a really beautiful opportunity, I think, in this life to be able to do that.
Yeah, I love that you bring everybody together. And do you feel like it kind of has healed you on your spiritual journey when you get to watch all these women come together to in circle that you have facilitated and you are like the person that brought everybody together? Does that make like your soul, like you feel like you've even grown even more and more because of that? And then you learn from all the other women. Like it's got to be such a beautiful thing to be a part of with you doing this. Like you are starting this community.
Yeah, you know, it's incredible in so many ways. I work with women on facilitating circles, and one of the things I share is, you know, if you want to step into a facilitator role, just know like, you know, you're gonna be in it, right? Like you might get rocked a little bit. So it has opened me, it has broken me open, it has beautifully opened me in so many ways. Every circle is different, and so that's what I love about this work. Is it? I always say that, you know, those circles, whoever's there in that moment is meant to be there and it's a co-creation. You know, circle is a very ancient way of gathering, and so for those that maybe aren't familiar that are listening, it's an ancient way of gathering, and you literally sit in the shape of a circle. So in that space there's no hierarchy, right? So I like to say that I create the container and then everyone that's there is holding the space as pillars, right? Like we each are in it together. And so through that, I'm certainly in the circle with everyone else. I may guide some prompts, I may have set the date and time, but we're all, you know, circling as a sisterhood. And so, of course, through that, I'm able to lean into all of these themes that we're exploring. I'm a part of the circle just like everyone else. And so, it's so fulfilling to have the opportunity to kind of be the one that's like, okay, I'll take that sacred responsibility to get us all together. And then once we're there, I do get to kind of just lay back and be in
Yeah.
the space with all the sisters too. And so that's really beautiful.
That is. That is beautiful. And do you allow men to come in, or is it just pretty much women that you focus on?
So I do hold spaces for everyone as well. Once a month here in the Grand Strand, there is a women's circle. And so that's open to anyone that identifies as a woman, ages typically 10 or older. But we've kind of opened that more where I'm like, oh, just bring your babies. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
sometimes if a theme is very intimate, then maybe there's an age appropriate thing. But other than that, we're like, you know, come as you are, bring your babies if you gotta, like, let's have them in the laps, let's have the toddlers there if we need. But then several times throughout the month, there may be workshops or day retreats or community circle spaces. I do a sunrise circle with my friend Teresa Yates of Cloud9 Retreats, and that one's open to men, women, children. So I find it's very important for everyone to circle. Like I like to say, you know, like back when like Oprah would be like, "You get a car, you get a car." Like I kind of feel that energy of like, "You get a circle, you get a circle." Like I want like everyone to be in circles. Like we used to exist in this way. We used to live in community. We used to gather around the fires together. We used to learn from each other, teach each other, grieve with each other. With women specifically, we even used to bleed together. I mean, there was an
Well, they used
intimacy
to call
there,
it the red
and I
tent.
think
The red tent.
yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. So the red tent was this space where women, because it was so honored, you know, when we were bleeding, that women would go in this tent and they would be bleeding together, but essentially they're in circle, they're in this community space. And so for men, women, children, we've kind of gotten away from that. And so I feel a lot of us are feeling this call to lean back into community. And so I think it's a sacred mission in my lifetime to kind of be that bridge and bring some of this back. And it's really beautiful to see the ripple of it. You know, so many different circles and community spaces happening here in the Grand Strand. You know, since Her Sacred Circle started several years ago, kind of as a you know husbands and brothers, you know, that were connected to the women were like, well, you know, we want to do something, and so we linked up some guys together, and now they have this incredible space called Reverence where they're doing monthly men's circles. I helped a woman named Rocky that's incredible and she feels really called to create circle spaces for children, right? So I'm definitely in the energy of like you get a circle, you get a circle because I think it's such a powerful space to be in and really helps the collective and then also the individual.
Yeah, and you actually offer that as part of your services where if people don't actually live in North Myrtle Beach, you could train them to do this in their hometown, correct?
Yes. Oh, that's been such a beautiful ripple from this work. Is I had a dear friend named Mariah Raven who used to live here, but was is up in New York. And several years ago, she reached out to me and she's like, "I just moved. I just missed you, but I really want to bring this to my area, and I'm just not sure. Could you create something where you share kind of your process, what you've learned along the way, what worked, what didn't?" And so I really felt into it. And I ended up creating Return to Circle, which is a facilitator certification program. It's self paced, but women going through it also get live Zooms with me. But we just kind of, maybe it takes them 4 or 5 months. Maybe they want to, go slower for a year. It's really how fast they want to move through it. But yeah, it's been beautiful. There's women from Florida, New York, California. I mean, we're really spanning the United States. And obviously, the vision is then the globe to just create spaces for people to come together with intention, with integrity, and with love. And so, if I can share my story and what worked and what didn't, for people to help them feel a little more confident moving into that space to be the one that's like, okay, I'll go first, I'll create the container, and see what happens. I'm happy to do that. And it's certainly become one of my favorite things that I do right now.
Wow.
That's great. And then you offer one-on-one. Can you kind of walk me and Kimberly, like if we were to set up a one-on-one session with you, like what would that entail?
Yeah, so the one-to-ones, again, are kind of something I feel like all of the services I have come from women reaching out to me and being like, hey, could you do this? Right. And I feel into it. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's create something. And so what those are, I offer them virtually or in person. And essentially, it's a circle of two, or a ceremonial space, right? And we come together and it's completely personalized based on what that specific woman is going through at the time. I feel really passionate about honoring rites of passage. So maybe, it's a birthday or a wedding or something like that that they want to really hold space around. When I work with someone consistently, it could be that we're meeting monthly and then we're really feeling into what's most alive for them within that month, what's feeling really heavy. And then through a wide variety of modalities, such as meditation, pulling oracle cards and talking about the messages there, breath work, Kundalini yoga, somatic movement, womb wellness. I feel very called. I'm a womb wellness advocate. I feel very called to bringing women back into their womb, whether or not you have the physical space, just that energetic space. So that's a lot of the work that I do is bringing women into the body, down into the womb space. And then various ceremonies, so releasing ceremonies, intention ceremonies, but it's very intuitively led. So we'll be in a space together. We start in meditation. We pull some cards to get the conversation going, and then over the years, I've really learned as a space holder just to trust what I hear. And I think with both of you and the work you do, you kind of have this process where you just kind of surrender and you're like, all right, I'm just going to say what I'm hearing. And so I've really opened up to that to be a channel, if you will, or just the hollow bone for whatever wants to move through the space. And I may feel called at one point to guide a woman into a journal prompt, right? And she explores a little deeper there. Or maybe it's a ceremony that we move into. And it's been really beautiful. I think the mission of those is to provide a safe space of non judgment for a woman to have an opportunity to have some intimate space to remember pieces of herself that she's forgotten, to remember her wholeness, right? So some of those things that we sometimes just tuck away or hide or don't want to deal with, it's a beautiful space to kind of let that come out and be held. And a space to celebrate. I think as women, we're so busy, we wear so many hats that sometimes we do this awesome thing and then we really quickly move on, right? But this is also a space like I'll pause a woman and be like, look what you just said, look what you've done. Like, let's celebrate this. I feel like part of my work in the world is definitely that cheerleader energy. Like I'm just like, like I love women and I love to see women succeed. And I genuinely just feel so excited when women have breakthroughs or have done something incredible or have done something really hard, And so encouraging women to take that pause and to celebrate along the way is a big piece of the work. But yeah, it's completely personalized. Absolutely love it. And I've been doing more of those, I would say, over the past year, kind of more stepped into that's filling up a lot of my time, which is really beautiful as well. So something I didn't expect, but has been such a blessing.
That's fascinating. I think it's so interesting. And, we need more people like you with that energy.
Mhm.
We do. I think women crave that. I think
Yeah.
we need that because there is like me and Kimberly just talked about this where people don't support other people unless they're like doing something for them, or like your friends, like a lot of times you don't get that support you need, or there's jealousy, or there's other parts of it where, us as women, we're so hard on ourselves. And to have somebody like you in the community that makes women feel safe, that makes women feel like they can be themselves, or to talk about certain things that are on their mind, or give them that healing, whether it's once a month or once every 6 months. I mean, we are craving that. Like we're craving someone like you where you're not judgmental. You are all loving. You want to embrace everybody on their journey or meet them where they're at, it seems like. And I think so many people need you in their life or in their community. And I love that you're sharing what you do with other women in different parts because I could see this getting huge, like even bigger. And hopefully one day you're in every state, every city, especially the major cities because us as women, we crave that.
Mm-hmm.
So lost within ourselves a lot of times, or what is accepted or what's normal. And to be vulnerable in your space, it seems like, is welcoming. And that can be a breath of fresh air for a lot of people to have that kind of encouragement from someone like you.
Thank you. I'll receive that. I what I hear a lot about circle is women will say, I didn't realize that this is what I needed, but this is what I needed. So I think there's a place within all of us, because over time with rise of the patriarchy, industrialization, all of these different things, technology, we've been kind of pulled into our silos, and then we're dealing with all the life stuff alone, and we feel like, oh my gosh, it's only me experiencing this, right? And so to be in a circle space where you're in the shape of a circle, you're looking in the eyes of all of these women, and actually start every circle doing that, like having the women look around and like see eye to eye and really bring in, oh my gosh, who's in this space with me. um it's incredible because a woman will share something and then you just watch so many other women nodding their heads. We do this thing called snapping, so just to kind of like yes, like I see you, I feel that. And again, it's back to that exhale that gives us this opportunity to soften, which I think we're all craving as women. Like we just want to feel a little softer, right? Like we've been holding all the things for so long. And so it's this invitation back into some of that softness. And so through having conversations with women, realizing we're not alone, we leave circle with this, I like to say remembrance. Not I don't overly use the word like empowered because I think we're all powerful. So I think what I do is create spaces for women to remember their power, their beauty, their magic, their truth. And then we like build this sisterhood that's like this hype team of like, you've got this and we're here for you. And that's what I love in the virtual space is because I'm only one person. And so there's this beautiful Facebook group. We're all connecting, but I don't live in the Facebook group. But someone will ask a question and then like maybe I can't, get to it or whatever. And I come back like hours later and like, oh, like the women have just supported in so many beautiful ways. There's women in there, speaking about kind of being the bridge with what you guys do here at the podcast. It's beautiful because I feel like that's a role that I really have stepped into as being the connector and really owning that part of what I'm really good at is celebrating other women and then connecting them with people that can help them thrive or that they can collaborate together. I'm really big in the collaboration aspect of life, right? If we can come together and work together and through that really heal, Brooke, I think you mentioned it, some of the jealousy or the mistrust with other women. I refer to that as the sister wound. So it's this thing that maybe through our own lives with our family or with friends, there's been times where we've been talked about by other women or we've been judged, right? And certainly if we all take ownership, we've judged other women and we've talked about other women. And so through Circle and through some of these spaces, it's getting us back into the heart to really look at everyone as a being of love and like, okay, if I'm staying in this space and we have these pillars of integrity that we all agree on at the beginning of every circle, and one of those is confidentiality. And so we're looking at these women in the eyes and saying, I've got you, and anything shared here is not going to be shared outside of circle. And that's really important to have a space like that.
Mm-hmm.
Through that, we're building trust. And then we're also building trust within ourselves to hold that space with women in our lives. And so there's again back to that ripple effect. I refer to that a lot because I think the healing that circle provides is what happens after circle. right? It's like that piece that shifted within us, and we show up a little differently in our relationships and the way we operate with the world. And so I think because of the ripple, circle is one of the ways that we can love on this planet in such a big way. And it's so, so needed,
Mm.
you know?
It really is. No, that's perfectly said. And I love everything that you're doing for everybody, and I love how you work better in groups. And then also, what would be like one piece of advice for somebody that's starting their journey that you can offer that you kind of learned from your own journey, or somebody that's listening that doesn't know where to start? What would be something that you could give them?
Mm. So I feel kind of called to share one that's more internal and one that's a little more external. The external would be lean into community. I've mentioned that that's something I'm super passionate about. And maybe it's not a circle, but maybe there's another community-based experience in the area where you live, or with technology there's so much at our fingertips that you can tap into virtually and lean into those spaces to be held. It's so courageous to be vulnerable, but it's so important because we get to learn about ourselves in a deeper way, and face our truths and be with that while also being held in loving space. So that to me I think is a game changer. And then with the internal, I think the biggest shift for me was when I learned to descend into the human experience versus trying to ascend out of it, right? So really helping people remember that we're here to kind of be in it and feel the things, like we're souls here having this human experience. So descend into it. What is your body telling you? Like, can we feel what we're feeling, right? And try, instead of trying to escape it. And so the body's wisdom, and even if it's just for a few seconds a day, maybe just placing your hand somewhere on your body and just breathing and asking, yourself or your heart or your womb, like, what do you need from me today? And then actually listening. But
Okay.
that one definitely has been a game changer. It's just tuning into the body.
Love that. I love everything that you said. And you must find people are very drawn to you, or because you almost have like this addicting energy where it's like, I know the podcast is ending, but maybe we don't want you to go yet because of the way we talk and like,
Love that cheerleader energy,
yeah, like that
right.
loving, the light,
I
the
got, I got your back. Like I got you, I love
uh,
that.
I'm sure that's very addicting to some women where it's like you are so needed, and I'm so glad that you've
Yes.
found your purpose of where you're supposed to be and how you can fulfill so many other people's lives by just being you, by
Mm.
just being who you are to help others on their journey. And you've got such great energy, and you could feel the passion behind everything that you said. So anybody listening, I'm sure even if they're not even watching the YouTube and they're just listening on Amazon or on Spotify and they're not actually watching the video, they can probably feel you radiate through the speakers of how it is that you truly are as, yourself. And, I thank you for being here and sharing everything about you. But I do want to know, like everybody listening, where can they find you? Where can they book a one-on-one? Where can they go to a circle? Where is it that they can meet up with you?
Thank you for the opportunity to share that. I love connecting with people, and I think that's my role in the world, is just to be a connector. So always open for more connection. My website is hersacredcircle.com. Instagram and Facebook page are also Her Sacred Circle. You can email me at info@hersacredcircle.com. And if you're looking for a virtual community space that offers, inspiration, support, education, and a whole lot of love, that's on Facebook, and it's called Her Sacred Circle Sister Collective.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. And I enjoyed listening to it. I enjoyed your energy being here. I really did. So I thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. It
Both,
was
thank you both
fast.
so much. It was such a pleasure, and just honoring both of you for what you're doing, for being a bridge for people to come in and share about their passions. And so just deep bow to both of you, and I send you a lot of love. Hope we'll be able to connect in person or virtually again soon.
I
Yeah.
know. Thank you so much. And we hope everybody listening in go check Leah out. If you haven't, follow her on Facebook, her email, her one-on-ones. Find her. You guys are missing out if you don't. And we will see you all next week. We hope you all have a beautiful day, and namaste.
Have a great day. Take care.